If you've got a profitable business, are you better off forming a limited company or staying self-employed? In this video, I'm going to walk through all the numbers for you at various levels of profitability. So I'm going to start off with profits of £50,000. If you're self-employed, the marginal tax rate is going to be 20% on income and 6% national insurance. It's a slightly lower national insurance rate because you don't get any sick pay. So you'd pay £7,486 in income tax and £2,246 in national insurance. If you have a limited company, you're going to pay employer's national insurance of £1,136, being 15% of the 12570 less 5,000. You're going to be paying corporation tax at 19% on all of your profits. Then you're going to be paying dividends at 8.75% on £28,899. Total taxes £2,529 for dividends. Grand total £10,560 if you're a limited company, but only £9,732 if you're self-employed. So much better off being self-employed. And recently, with things like the hikes in employers' national insurance and the reducing dividend allowance, it's made it much more difficult to set up a limited company and for it to be worthwhile on a tax basis. So now let's change the profits to £70,000, and if you're self-employed, you're paying 2657 national insurance, you're paying tax at a 40% marginal rate on income. Total is £15,432, so it's £18,089 total tax. If you've got a limited company, you're paying corporation tax, total £11,168. There's a tapering going on between £50,000 and £250,000. You're then paying still the same employer's national insurance, the 1136, because the salary is unchanged, and then you're paying taxes on dividends, total of £5,761. And the grand total of all the limited company taxes is £18,065. So you're ever so slightly better off with the limited company, but don't forget you might have to pay an accountant to run the payroll and do all that kind of hassle. But then there are some other tax savings of a limited company, like you can have a staff Christmas party. But if we increase the profits to £90,000, then the numbers go back the other way, and the total tax paid by the limited company is now £28,000 versus only £26,000 if you're self-employed. And the reason is that there's no cap on the employer's NIC rate, so that remains at 15%. The corporation tax has a marginal rate of 26.5%, and then we're paying marginal dividend tax 33.75%. So there's a huge tax burden if you've got a limited company. And the only real way to mitigate that is to make a pension contribution from your limited company, which will bypass all of the taxes. The other thing to do would be to make your spouse a 50% shareholder in the limited company. So what that would do would be to effectively halve the dividend burden, and so you're now only paying dividends at the 8.75% rate for both yourself and your spouse. So that means that now the total taxes from the limited company setup have dropped way down to 22,751 compared to the 26,489 self-employed. So if you're looking to set up a limited company, make sure you're on good terms with your spouse. So there's all sorts of permutations and combinations that you can run through, and the best thing to do is to just plug it into a spreadsheet and see for yourself what the numbers look like. I'll put a link in the description as to how you can get hold of my spreadsheet.